From buying your first box of miniatures and paints to being a gentleman or lady on the gaming table, we have you covered.
We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors, Dragon Slayers, The Forge Hobbies and Games, and Rexer's Lasers, and the Patreons that support the channel, plus you for taking a moment to watch the channel.
Welcome everybody as we continue our series along on boarding patrol and preparing for 10th. Of course, I'm behind on all the releases because GW just freaking kicks them out daily. And we know that the boarding patrol rules will stay the same. So what we're going to do, oh, I've got the paper in there. We're going to take and go kind of follow their suit and then maybe have to go back. As normal, thanks for taking and clicking on the channel. Thanks for watching the channel. Like, subscribe. Thanks to our Patreons who will continue to roll on the side over there and our sponsors on the other side there. Without further ado, we're going to get into the Chaos Space Marines. And I've really been all over the place on how to do it. There's the book from Angeron that's got the Chaos Space Marine, all the stuff in there. And so we can kind of go through that. But I really want to take and get into the most exciting part of it. And that is going to be this, which I'm not going to be on screen all the way. So we're going to mess around with that just a little bit. So I'm going to flip it over to it. Boom. There. So I can't see that far, but we're going to go here. So based on the way, well, we're kind of doing two things at once. But yes, that is Abaddon. Because based on the rules, I'm going to read this here. When you're mustering it, has to be an HQ. It can't have any basically monsters or stuff like that, but you can have Abaddon inside boarding patrol. I don't think he was a monster before, maybe he was. I don't know, but I'm just saying. He is a HQ slot, not a Lord of War. Well, I say that. I don't think he's going to be a Lord of War. I think he's going to be an HQ slot. And he's in the boarding patrol. So that's pretty cool from that standpoint, because what comes in the boarding patrol box is Abaddon, 10 Space Marines that can be made into Legionnaires, because I think it has the upgrade kit, and then you got 20 cultists. So when you're building the boarding patrol, your Legion has to be from the same. You can include one fast attack, but only if it's Chaos Spawn. You can include up to 2 HQs, but and 2 character modes, but only if they have the Dark Commune unit, which Abaddon doesn't. You can include more cultists than you trade as Astartes Core Infantry, but no more than twice as many. So if you think about it, it's a 10-man unit, 2 10-man cultist units. So that box is a right box for boarding patrol. You cannot include more than one model equipped with a balanced tome, the data sheet of the Legionnaires. So therefore, you'd have to make it a 10-man squad, so it actually splits into 5. The straighter, if you include a Astartes possessed unit, you can only have a starting strength of 5 models, no addition. Not really worried about that much. It is, again, boarding patrol, you get to use up to 500 points. You get to use anything of the Chaos Spring Codex. I'm just going based off of the boarding patrol box that you could buy, and how it kind of gives us insight since they already built it. Points, I'm looking at points, how points are joint adjusted, and looking at data cards. You can't split the cultist units, and must be for the same boarding squad. When they do split, they split into units. The mutants, a cursed cultist, but I didn't choose a cursed cultist, just said it's regular cultist. And then the rules adaptation, the Legion is not from the following. Enhanced strategy says the Legion, basically there's rules in addition, just like in regular Space Marines, you have several different ones, alpha, and all the different ones that way. When an enemy model makes a ranged attack, it targets master duplicity trait, counts as 6 away with cover. Warp time is a value of 9, and possession psychic power is a warp charge value of 8. Now, with that being said, I don't think Abaddon has any. Notice in some of the cards, some of the data sheets that come out for away psychic powers and the psychic phase being gone, these values, so there will be a slight FAQ. I already anticipate it. The boarding patrol rules will be the same. There may be some slight building options that changes, because those are no longer cast during the psychic phase. They're just number of shots. So I'm pretty sure we would just use the data card, and these lines would just be removed for the FAQ. I don't see them adding much more to it. I see them actually removing lines that may not be included. And as normal, different keywords may actually be changed to make sure things go like that. And then the enhancements, You've got Talisman of Burning Blood. Corn model only, add 1 to its characteristics. That is Zeech model only. Each time a psychic test or deny witch test is made, the bearer add 1 to the psychic test or deny witch test. Again, that'll be FAQ'd because the way the psychic abilities work now. The Putrist Armor, Nurgle, add 1, subtract 1 from the damage to a minimum 1, and then Intoxicating Elixir. Slanesh, the bearer can not lose more than 3 wounds during any single phase. Any wounds that will be lost after that point are not lost. So that one will be interesting because as we've seen things come out, they're starting to remove the phase cap, so to speak, that I've seen on the release they've shown. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays in effect there. So with the boarding patrol box, that being your rules adaptations, you've got Abaddon, 10 Space Marines, and 20 Cultists. So it gives you a 4 units total. Based on point cost as of now. So that was the thing I was doing too, is the boarding patrol box based on point cost is 630. So I have a feeling Abaddon's points are going to go down. He will not be as expensive as it is. But I have a feeling that is going to be about 500 points for your boarding patrol. Just based on since they released it. I kind of, in my head, have kind of looked at everything. And if they're short 500 points, figuring those points are going to go up. And if it's above 500 points, figuring that's going to go down. Because again, it is a boarding patrol box. So it's built to be able to put together and play it on the table. So you can take and enjoy it from that aspect. Now, I'm going to look here. And we're going to take and discuss Abaddon. Because I think it'd be really cool in boarding patrol with all of his new rules. One, his range, the sustained units, sustained hits. 24-inch range, plenty. 4 shots, hits on 2, strength 5, -1, flat 2 damage. So he is a marine killer, or 2 damage unit killer. His melee options, he is, again, he slaughters those. Again, the Paragon of Hatred. While friendly heretic starters with a 6, each time a model makes a unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Again, it can't go through doors with that, but if doors are open around corners, so it's 6 inches there. When a friendly heretic unit has been 6 inches model, the model may have a 4-up invul save, which is really cool because you can take and have the 4-up invul saves on different things. And then when a friendly heretic started with the 6, you can reroll the leadership battle shock test taken for that unit, which will be cool because I think battle shock is going to be interesting on holding objectives. He can deep strike, which if you took and started him off the board and you had 4 doors closed, remember there's infinite distance between doors closed in an area. So if there's a room, you could drop him in on that and be able to take and go there. He does have the Dark Pack ability, so that will allow him to take Dark Pack ability, and that will allow him to take and he'll be able to take and do either lethal hits or sustained hits when it comes to that. And then the War Master. In your command phase, select 1 War Master ability. Until the start of the next command phase, the model has this ability. Oh, you choose one of the 3 for it to be able to do that. Shows how much I've looked at all these things. Oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. And then each time the model has a Dark Pack, it does result in leadership. Roll D6 on a 2+, you gain a CP, which is pretty cool. And of course, he's got a 2-up save and a 4-up invul and OC of 4. So he'll actually be pretty good from that standpoint. We're going to take, and I am going to quickly go through these because, again, I like keeping these videos short. I'm just excited because Abaddon and Boarding Patrol, I think, is going to be really, really, really cool from that standpoint. So let's see here. We're going to flip to this here. Let's see if that goes there. Maybe that's not too dark. We'll see. We'll actually brighten it up a little bit. Cool. So that's brightened up there, and we're going to take and go from there. Sorry, folks. I guess trying to figure something out there. All right. So boarding action stratagems, internal hatred. Basically, we're going to simplify these. I'm not going to read word for word. You could read it word for word if you'd like to pause it. Basically, they can fight. Add 1 to the attack's wounds. If it's Terminator, it's 2 CP. Add 1 to the attack's wound rolls. The glyph of the gifts of the plague god. Nurgle, you can make unmodified 1 through 3, basically transhuman for them. 2 CP versus 1. The Great Sorcerer, as each player, that unit can attempt to manifest 1 additional psychic power this phase. That was going to be one I anticipate probably going to go away based on the way the psychic phase is gone. Shipboard insurrection. Basically, movement phase. You can open a hatchway if there's 1 inch of that unit. The owner can attempt to prevent the hatchway from opening. So that's pretty good. So you get to basically have the warlord trait there. The open doorway hatch at the end of the movement, or oh, never mind. That keeps you so you can just bust it open. You can't prevent it from opening. Sorry, can't really read these days. The scorn of the sorcery should be right there. Basically, Psyker unit roll d6 on 4. The Psyker power is denied, so you can deny those. Which again, things like this, I anticipate will be going away as we go into 10th, just based on the rules leaks, or not rules leaks, the army constructions and the things they've been talking about. I don't know any rules leaks. The terrifying phenomenon. Trader starts unit to the end of the phase. Your opponent cannot select that unit for insane bravery. And morale. Unit phase morale. So that will probably be FAQ'd and used to a point. Again, how insane bravery works on the command phase. And stupefier haze. Army fallback 2d6. The results equal to greater enemy's leadership. The enemy cannot fall back. This phase must remain stationary. So that one probably will stay, but instead of being greater, it may be less than. No, it still may be greater. Figure out how they word that. Again, they've changed the way leadership works. Anything with leadership, anything with psychic phase, because those two are going away, I anticipate those to have some kind of changes. And then we're going to have your faction ones. So your Alpha Legion, basically their inducement, they could add 1 to the attacks and a cultist keyword, improve the arm penetration by 1. And their CP strat, you should be able to see there, is basically in your movement phase. Alpha Legion Army is set within the entry zone. It can make a normal move 6. So when you bring them in reserves, you can set them up and move forward. Creations of Bile. At the end of when the bearer is destroyed, if you do, on a 2+ set the bearer on the battlefield, closest possible position with D3. So basically, you have to bring them back. That one's actually really, really cool. If you gave that inducement, downside is you can't give Abaddon the inducement because you can't give characters the inducement. So if you're bringing Abaddon, you don't get to do that. But that's still neat if you're bringing somebody else. Taken Alive, basically 1 CP, strat, fight phase, destroy melee until the end of the battle. Subtract 1 from the leadership. Opponent can't use the same bravery, and your opponent cannot use command reroll. Which is interesting because you can't use the same bravery. So if you failed your leadership, you couldn't use the stratagems anyways. Again, there's going to be some changes. As I've started going through these, I've kind of seen, oh, the rules are the same. They dropped all these books. I don't know how much they're going to have to FAQ a lot of this. I don't see them re-releasing books. Or if they re-release books to do that, I expect a bunch of FAQs to come out for all the books just to clean up some of the wording based on things. And this one really has exposed that. The first two I didn't show it as much, but this one really has. You've got your Black Legion and your Emperor's Children. So the inducement for the Black Legion, 9 inches. Command phase, model is selected, unit makes attacks, considered to be engaged, and select that attack instead of any other. Huh, pretty nifty. And then Crusade Darkness, unit from your army is selected until the end of the phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets the enemy unit within range, objective marker improve the arm penetration by 1. That one's going to be pretty cool. Emperor's Children, basically for each model wound the bearer is lost, add 1 to his attacks characteristic. If the bearer gains any lost wounds, it loses the bonus attacks. You get bonus attacks if your character has losing wounds. The combat elixirs, basically until the end of the fight phase, add 1 of the strength characteristics and improve the weapon skill by 1. That's pretty cool for them. We have got, let's see here. Yeah. We're going to have our Iron Warriors and our Night Lords. I know Night Lords is an interesting one a lot of people really like. Iron Warriors add to the toughness, and then the CP is basically until the end of the fight phase, each time attack is allocated to that model, subtract 1 from the damage, so reduce damage by 1 and increase toughness. Makes sense. Follow suit with Iron Warriors. Night Lords. Now this one, I ain't even read them yet, but I know they like dealing with leadership, so let's see if that's what they do. Night Lords, each time attack is made against bear, subtract 1 to the attack's hit rolls, and they can't be rerolled. And same from your target range until the end of the phase. Each time a range attack is made against that, subtract 1 from attack's hit rolls. Never mind. They are all about -1 to hit. And everything cannot be modified more than 1 on anything. So that's pretty cool across the board on some of the rules C and C. So that's neat there. Course Red Corsairs. Within 9 of the bear until the shooting phase. At the end of your shooting phase, that unit can make a normal move up to 6 inches, but if it does so, that's not eligible to declare a charge. So it's kind of you could almost fade and fire that if you want to in boarding patrol, because you can dodge around between the walls. Oh my goodness gracious! Well, we're gonna do this because y'all have not been seeing them all. Oh my gosh! So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna have to set for a minute, because that is brutal on me. The Eternal Hatred, the Gifts of the Plague God, the Greater Sorcerer, Shipboard Resurrection, Scorn of Sorcery, Terrifying Phenomenon, Stupefy Haze. Go here, because I thought for sure y'all were seeing these, and apparently y'all were just seeing my face read. And I apologize for that, folks. We're just going to go with it, because time is of the essence, and essence is of the time, and as we make these, I may have to make the corrections. As I said, I see a lot of FAQs or changes coming out for these, so we will hit that back up. But I also see a lot of neat things. Like I said, Abaddon, the stat line for the Chaos Space Marines slash Legionnaires is going to be really cool. Yep. And Word Bearers. I'm going to do that one because y'all can actually see that one. Haha. They get 3 inches to the move characteristic. Pile in, they get an additional 3, which is cool because in Border Patrol, if you can't pile into another model, you can't do it. So really, they're going to have 6 inches to move. So if you can get within range, you can take and do that. And then for 2 CP, the damage characteristic of the attack is reduced to 0 on an attack. So that is that out of the Kangaroo book for the go there because I like that one. And then having the ability to have Abaddon as your boarding patrol in the boarding patrol box really sets up a standard for that. Again, boarding patrol is 500 points. 1 character, 3 troop choices can be duplicated. 1 elite choice. Sometimes you can have some other ones, which this one allows for something from fast attack, which gives you a chaos spawn if you're wanting to take and build that. Hopefully you made it this far. If you did, I screwed that up royally, but thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share it out. Thank you to all the Patreons. Again, thanks everyone for taking a moment to watch it. We'll be back sometime this week, next week, following weeks. We'll roll them out as we take and we go. And as we get closer to 10th, we might have to recap some. But I did want to take and kind of start going through the boarding patrol boxes. Not unboxing them all because I don't have them all. But it is worth me taking and just breaking down the points. With that, everyone have a wonderful and great day.